Hi, my name is Justin, aka Ghost Reader, and today I am going to be doing a review of the book Democratizing Our Data, a Manifesto by Julia Lang. This was published by MIT Press. I got this as a book from NetGalley, so I'd like to thank NetGalley and MIT Press for the chance to review this book, and it is in bookstores now. So basically, this book, I picked it up because I never really read much or really delved into the topic of data or data in the public sector. I know when I was in school and doing research, data was a big thing. Um, Big data is a very big field. People are looking for ways to try to handle and interpret all the data that we are producing. And there's a lot of money in that, and at least in the private sector. And the author in this book takes a look at the public sector, what the government is doing with its data, and basically points out where there are deficiencies in the system and where she thinks that we can do better. And basically, the author points out that a lot of the tools and systems in place currently are tools that were perhaps useful in the past, but not so useful in the 21st century. Things have changed. People aren't answering surveys that much anymore. And it's a very costly way of doing things. The U.S. Census is very costly and doesn't really get everyone. So we need to find better ways of doing it, and low cost ways of doing it. And the reason for this is that a lot of the decisions that our government makes is based off of data, and that data needs to be as good as possible. That it's that the departments are like Department of Agriculture, the National Health Institute, and all these other different departments and groups in the government are producing this data, and this data is used in Congress and on local and on the federal level, on the state level, to make decisions. And if those parts of government do not have do not have good data, or they have data that is a couple years behind, or they have data where people are either unrepresented or overrepresented or underrepresented, then you are not going to be able to make good decisions. And decisions that look good on paper because you have this bad data set, once you go out into the real world and try to apply it, then you see that you've made a mistake. So we need to find ways to produce good data, and also while we're trying to update the systems, we also need to try to make sure that we keep the privacy of the individuals involved private as well. And she says that the one thing the government has going for it is that it is seen as a reputable source of data. So if you say like, oh, I have these statistics from like this part of the government, generally people see that as a reputable source. So the government has that going for it. The thing is a lot of the times, there's not a lot of there's a lot of bureaucratic red tape to cut through in order to make changes, because those functions of government are basically there to make or to do a particular function, not particularly their goal isn't to innovate. Their goal is to actually produce results. And so unlike in a private company where the goal of the company is to produce results and also to be innovative in order to stay in business, to be part of the cutting edge. That's why Google and Amazon and all these other companies are very good with their data, right? They're so good, they can tell you like when you go in school, what you like to eat, like what your favorite movies are, from all the data that they collect. And they're very good at it. And so she wants the government to be just as good. But of course, there are public concerns about that. And one way she says that we need to make sure that the projects and whatever the government is doing with this data, we have to make sure that the projects are safe, meaning that they have some utility for the community that they're serving, that they shouldn't just be collecting data just for the sake of collecting data, that the people in charge of it need to be trusted, that the setting in which the data is stored needs to be safe and secure, that the data needs to be de-identified so that the people that the data has been collected from, or their privacy is respected, and also make sure that none of the data can be re-identified once it's sent out to like different places to be put together into whatever data set is needed for the job. So that way you can empower local, state, and on the national level, empower politicians with very good data. And she envisioned perhaps a creation of what she called a national lab for community data, where their source is not just collecting data, but also they're on the cutting edge of creating new ways to look at that data, collect that data, and create value for the community. because and that's the most important part, creating value for the community, so that they can use that data to see in real time how is Corona affecting job employment. Where do we need to put money to make sure that those people who lost employment can get jobs, after this, and stuff like that. So I think she makes very good points. I think that this book does a very good job at showing how we can be better at what we do with our data collection, and how we can use that data to basically make better decisions in government, at least empower our politicians to make better decisions, because you can provide that data, but of course the politicians still, they can go their own way. But I thought that this was a very interesting book. I do think at times she kind of goes over the same ground, as she's like making her way through her argument, and at times that kind of like bogs down the reading. But I thought overall it was a good argument. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I do think that we need to be better at how we collect data, because the way she describes where we are now, we're definitely deficient in that. So that is it for this review. If you like this review, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at GhostReads28, on Instagram at JustinGhostReader, and on Goodreads. The link to that is down in the description box below. And as always, keep reading, and Black Lives Matter.